What's going on, guys? Chief here from CHG, just to have a little chat to you about my experience with Ghost Recon Wildlands, the new Ubisoft title. Initially, the game excites and entices you with a new mission style, whereby you collect intel on a target, location or area of the map, and then using that intel, you're able to complete the missions that are in that area. So the game's sort of set up into zones. It's broken up into sort of sections. I mean, the whole map's open to you from the get-go, but it's split up into little sections, and each section has a boss that's responsible for it. So the map is massive. Like, it's massive. Heaps of different biomes and a wide array of terrain. That being said, it sometimes comes across as a little bit empty. The civilian AI is pretty silly. They glitch all the time. They don't react to stuff properly, as I said before. This can break immersion. This really can sort of pull you out of it, and you sort of realise you're playing a video game, you know. And it hurts a little bit when that sort of stuff happens. Now, yes, the map is big, so you would think that with a big map, they would take a lot of time to polish those vehicle mechanics so that when you're using vehicles, it's great fun to sort of move around the map. It's not. The vehicles in this game is one of its bigger downfalls. Cars handle just strange. It's just like sometimes they take corners really sharp and hard and fast, and sometimes they don't. And the helicopters and planes can sometimes feel slow. I think the best handling vehicle in the game are the boats, and I have not spent a whole lot of time on boats. I mean, there's heaps of vehicles in the game, but it was just lacking. It just wasn't all there. They could have polished it a little bit more. They could have just really done a whole lot more with the vehicle system. And I mean, for a game this big, you would expect a vehicle system that works really effectively. And unfortunately, in Ghost Recon Wildlands, it doesn't. It's something that they need to either fix, or might not be able to be fixed at all, which is sad. You know, it throws you right into it straight away. It gets you doing a mission straight away, and it gives you some pretty cool starting equipment as well. And immediately you know what sort of game you're playing. This is a action, tactical, stealth shooter, and it is a lot of fun in that regard. The action is awesome and fast-paced, and the gunplay is fun, and you can't help but just have a big shit-eating grin on your face when you clear a base completely stealthy. It is quite a lot of fun.
Deploying drone.
It's clear that Ubisoft spent most of their time making the gameplay as fun as possible, but they really didn't bring their writing or voice acting prowess to this game. I mean, it's fun, you have fun playing it, but it's nowhere near as immersive as Far Cry or Assassin's Creed. You often remember that you are playing a video game. It's not something I'd usually go for, but
Let the rebels know where to find these supplies. They could pay us back later.
Now, I played a lot of the single player, particularly when I was getting footage of this review, and I just wanted to see how the story sort of unfolded and how it went. And it was the story isn't that good. The story isn't gonna sell you on this game. It's not very well written. It's pretty predictable. The voice acting isn't fantastic. There are no real memorable characters, and that's sort of its biggest downfall. Really, is its sort of empty feeling story. I mean, I'm only maybe a little over halfway through the story, and I don't know if I'm going to continue it solo. It's just a real slog on your own. Hey, you can't. It's just not worth sort of getting to know all of the characters and caring about them. I've just got no reason to care. It's about these 4 guys in a squad, part of the Ghost Recon squad, who have come to Bolivia because Bolivia has been turned into a narco state by a cartel called the Santa Blanca. Now, they've taken over the whole country. Whole country's theirs. They literally wanted a country to make cocaine, and they've got one. They've managed to find a nice little home for themselves in Bolivia. yes, okay, I see what they were trying to do. I can see that they like really did try and make it a good story, but I feel as though they could have done something different or done something better. I mean, I don't necessarily have the answer to that question, so I'm not going to claim to know better than the writers, but that being said, they could have done a little bit better. But I just feel as though they spent a whole lot more time trying to make the gunplay and the gameplay as good as humanly possible, and they sort of forgot about the story a little bit, which is a shame, because I really, really enjoy a story-driven experience. That's I really, really enjoy it. Now, if you're looking for something realistic, this is so far from realistic. It is just, it's not even in the realm of real. They have tried to sort of make it realistic in the way that there are bullet drop and other ballistic effects of that nature, but most of it is very unrealistic. That's not to say it isn't fun because it's unrealistic, but if you're looking for a realistic, army shooter game, this is not the right pick. This one's not for you. Now, the skill system I enjoyed personally. I enjoyed the skill system. It sort of was another one of those aspects of the game that facilitated exploration, and with a map this big, and it is massive, it was like really good way of getting me to continue exploring and to go and check out other little towns and villages and settlements and mines and bases and stuff like that. It really made me want to explore the map. So you collect skill points in the ways that we know. So completing missions and killing enemies and doing stuff stealthily or all that sort of stuff. You get skill points in those ways. But they've changed it up a little bit. You can also pick up skill points in the form of medals, and they're just littered throughout the map. So it helps with that in exploration. You want to go and find those medals. If you're an experienced gamer, you're gonna want to turn up the difficulty. On the easiest settings, it is like very, 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 very easy. So I played a lot of it on expert, particularly when I was playing with my friends. It just makes it that much better, and it's much more satisfying when you're playing a really tactical playthrough, when you're trying to stealth through bases, buildings and structures and things of that nature. It's so much better to play this on a higher difficulty. Trust me. The enemy AI can be a bit hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes they're really aggressive, sometimes they're pretty complacent. Overall, they're pretty good. Overall, they're pretty good, especially on that harder difficulty. It's a lot more fun. But they spot you quickly, so it's like when you're stealthing through, they'll pick up that you're there really, really quickly, which is enjoyed, particularly for those people who enjoy games like Splinter Cell. So it's not like you're just sitting in the corner and they're staring right at you and they're not noticing you. Like, they'll notice you, and that's welcomed, particularly in those stealth playthroughs. You actually have to be careful when you're checking corners and things like that. They'll notice you very, very quickly. But when they attack you, they flank, they throw grenades. They'll even rush certain positions if you're just holding out in a building. They'll use mortars, miniguns. They'll call for backup and attack helicopters and things like that, which really helps vary up the gameplay and helps keep things moving as well. So you're not just sitting in a building forever, just mowing down hundreds and hundreds of coke-addled drug dealers. It's good. It's good. Now, one of the best parts of this game, as you can see on the screen here, is the customization. The customization is awesome. It's extensive, it's deep, it's very involved. So you can customize just about every aspect of every gun, from the skins and paints to it, all the way through to your laser dot sights, and you've got scopes and underslung grenade launchers and better clips and all this fantastic stuff that we don't necessarily see all the time in that much detail. Like, yeah, there is elements of customization in all those other games. You can add scopes and stuff to weapons, but this goes above and beyond, and it has done in the past. The gunsmith in this game is fantastic. You've also got a great amount of cosmetic customization options, your clothes, and that's really appreciated as well, because that makes it a really personal experience. You can dress your guy how you think that they would be dressed. You can match the outfit to the particular biome that you're playing in. If you're in a snow biome, you might go more of a white to be better stealthy, you know, desert and forest, so on and so forth. And that just, you can even make them look like civilians. You know, it's really, really good to sort of have that. It helps bring back some of that immersion that is lost in the story. And I think that's a really, really important, and I think they've done a really good job with the customization. I really enjoy the customization. I had heaps of fun just messing around with my friends in Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's an excellent playground for some funny moments, as well as great tactical plans that sometimes go off without a hitch. There's a lot of satisfying co-op moments, but the story and squad AI, as well as the civilian AI, let the single player experience down. Not to mention the rinse and repeat mission structure. The wide array of weapons and customization made it a personal experience. I wouldn't rush out and get this unless you've got at least one other person who's really, really keen to play it with you. It's not something that you should get up and go and get right now. It's definitely fun, but it leans on the fact that you do need to play this with friends. It was designed around playing it with friends. And I think that's also why they sort of, you know, didn't work quite as hard as they could on the story. But that's not what this game is about. This game is about getting your friends together, having a laugh, mucking around, having some fun, because it's an excellent playground. It's an excellent platform for some really hilarious moments, because it is full of fantastic glitches. It's like one of the only games that I will play where a glitch happens, and I'm not mad, I'm not frustrated, I'm just laughing. It's just funny when all that sort of stuff happens. So overall, it's fun, but you're gonna need some friends to play it with you. It's not something that you should tackle solo.